All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Jamflix and Chill for Awful Summer Jam 2018. I'm Dieting Hippo, and we have with us today Thermal Anomaly and Alrunia with The Last Panderling II. Go ahead and say hi.
Hey, how's it going? This is Thermal Anomaly.
Hi everyone, it's Alrunia.
And then we've got SystemLogoff with Sequel Studios.
Joined by the wonderful Willfor.
Sup, Willfor?
Hi. Hello.
Awesome music, man. And then we've also got BluJay later on with Where the Red Fern Still Grows. We're going to go ahead and kick off The Last Panderling II. Thermal Anomaly, Alrunia, would you all like to discuss your game a bit? What's it about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, as a couple people have pointed out in the forums here, Secret of Mana was a really big inspiration for me with this game. I was basically trying to create Secret of Mana like pretty much exactly there. I've got a lot of really fun memories from my childhood playing the original game with my brother when we were like in middle school, renting it from the local Blockbuster.
It's a good game.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how many people have actually tried out the co-op functionality. I've done it a little bit of demonstrations. I think most people try to do it single player. And of course, I figured that the judges were probably playing through it single player. So I had some like basic AI so that you could play either co-op or just by yourself there with the AI teammate.
I'll try to give it a shot. I definitely know a lot of the judges are not anywhere near each other, so multiplayer tends to be a bit tough, especially couch co-op.
Yeah, you really got to make that an optional thing, basically, or just treat it as like an extra feature, basically.
Sorry if I'm taking a bit. I'm reading some of the story here.
Oh yeah, take your time here. We've got a lot of text. So yeah, I came up with the original concept idea, and then Alrunia drafted up a storyboard, and then came up with a script, and then most of the dialogue came from that script then that Alrunia wrote up.
Nice. I love all the character designs here too.
I know, right?
So at first I thought I maybe overdid it with the script, like maybe the story was a little too complex, a little too much story, but I don't know, I guess it worked out fine.
Hey, the more you can scope in and still fit in within the jam time, the better.
Yes, but I mean, I had Thermal Anomaly program all these complicated cutscenes. I feel like maybe that was a bit much. But I mean, yeah, it was my first game jam, so I didn't exactly have a great idea of how I should limit the scope.
The cutscenes were a little bit complicated to implement at first, but I ended up implementing my own scripting language, basically. I feel like it's pretty comprehensive, and now that I put all the work into the scripting, it's a lot easier now to make additional cutscenes. And then the text was actually pretty easy to do. Like, I think I plugged in pretty much all the dialogue, like in the last 2 days. I had a pretty good text system that I had with code left over from previous game jam entries. So it was pretty much just a matter of plugging the text in, and then it mostly worked just right off the bat like that.
It is pretty nice being able to salvage older code for other purposes. Oh, a little puppy here.
What's that? Oh yeah, that's right. I fixed the pug dialogue. Originally, Pugsy there was a last-minute addition, like on the last day. On the judge's version, I think he just says woof, but then I patched in later some more realistic pug dialogue in there.
Oh, well, this is a bummer. Little graveyard.
This is LTA, that's not for me.
I was imagining that the first Last Panderling would have been like very melancholy and bittersweet, and focusing on Sadie trying to come to grips with her being the last Panderling. It's all very tragic, and she cries tears in the moonlight as she goes on her quest. and that as this is an unnecessary sequel, I'm imagining that like the suits basically have decided that this game was like an unexpected breakthrough hit, and are trying to milk it for sequels, which kind of means walking back a lot of the tragedy and putting in some more Panderlings and completely shifting the tone of the game basically to be a lot more happy and something that would have some more sequels to it.
Right on. I'm really loving the density here. Everywhere you go, there's a little something to do. Like this fat little parrot guy.
The bird phone was my idea. I think Alrunia originally intended it to be one of the more dialogue-based characters, but I gotta put a bird phone now into every game that I make.
It's good technology.
I mean, he is totally based on the actual bird phone, so yeah.
There's an actual bird phone?
Oh, I think I gotta put this link in the chat here. Give me one sec.
Oh, please do. You've piqued my curiosity.
Yeah, it was like a formative experience for the both of us as game devs. Just the bird phone.
I know of the Garfield phone, but the bird phone, that'd be new.
Oh, yes, I mentioned earlier on some of the code that I was able to use from previous jam entries. The source code for this originally started out as a platformer, but I started working on redoing Panic Cats from about a year ago. I think it was like the 2017 Winter Awful Jam. And so I was able to adapt some of the code there, mostly just the dialogue system, and then a little bit of the map parsing, although I had to expand it significantly, though, to like handle the multiple layers and objects that the player can walk in front of or behind, that kind of thing.
Oh, I'm loving this UI here.
One of the improvements that I made too with like my remake of Panic Cats was a much more flexible system for doing UIs using MVC model view controller architecture, where you basically split all the UIs into the view portion that you look at, and also is kind of the working set of your data, the controller, which mostly handles the player input, and then the model, which is like the underlying data that you make controlled reads and writes to. I guess it's a little bit hard to explain, I guess, right off, and there's kind of some dense programming stuff, but adhering to that architecture made designing the UI in this game a lot easier and a lot faster. And it's kept the like classes from kind of spiraling out of control into big, like manageable tingles of code, basically.
Whose idea was it for the deep fried pine cone?
It was mine, and it's an actual thing. If you Google image search it, it actually exists, but it's not made of pinecone.
Really? Oh, what is it made from?
I think it's just a pastry of some kind, some deep fried dough thing.
I'll give it a try.
It just takes a super similar resemblance to a pine cone?
Yeah, pretty much.
Take that, slime. Alright, so it's a pretty easy dodge mechanic. I'm getting the hang of this pretty quickly.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got the end of the dodge roll.
Hey, how you?
So the idea here is that, yeah, it's the Last Panderling II, and then you immediately meet another Panderling. So we're kind of like walking back the whole, just one of them thing, so that we've got more material to milk for sequels.
So now there's another one, so it's a second two kind of deal.
I was very much into this idea of kind of subverting the Last Panderling thing. So I was thinking, where can we put some more Panderlings? And yes, there is another Panderling if you get far enough into the plot. Well, almost at the end of the game. So yeah, it's just Panderlings all the way down.
Yeah.
There are originally two concepts that I had for the theme. One was like this idea that I read up like on an internet message board like 8 years ago, I think, where someone had an idea for like a reverse Legend of Zelda game where you start out at the very end and you've got like all the power ups and all the best gear in the game, and then you go back to all the dungeons and you put all your goodies and your power ups back into the chests as your character like slowly depowers basically until at the very end like you find out that your character is like horribly crippled and like mentally challenged and you can't actually do anything and like you're powerless at the end of the game. So that was one of the ideas basically.
So kind of pulling a Saint Elsewhere.
I was saying what?
Saint Elsewhere was a show where the entire show at the end was revealed to be inside the mind of just like one kid.
Yeah, I kind of see that there. Of course, taking powers away from the player is generally a big no-no. You don't want to reduce the player's options. So we just ended up making like the power-ups that you put back in this game basically just be MacGuffins that are only important for plot purposes.
Hey, these slimes ain't too bad. I missed the money though. Ooh, nice lighting effect in here.
Thank you. I did all of the lighting here with a custom pixel shader effect. Originally, it just handled like just plain white lighting. Alrunia wanted me to put in some colored lighting though, and like make it more like the crystals on the outside of the walls there were like glowing basically. So I was able to put in support for colors like in the last 2-3 days of the jam, I think.
Yeah, coming from a programming perspective myself, I definitely implemented a lot of things that I wasn't planning on implementing until Chernobog on my team came to me and was like, "Hey, can you put this in?" And I was like, "I wasn't even thinking about that, but that would make it look really good."
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Definitely glad I put it in there. If I had a little bit more time, I could probably improve on it too a little bit. It only has support for 8 lights right now. I think the issue is that it's limited by the number of variables that you can pass to the shader. So basically, I'm using 8 for light positions and then 6 for the colors. I just have the lights for the 2 main characters always set to plain white right now to save on the variable usage.
Right on. Alrunia, what did you use for making all the art?
Honestly, I always use Paint for pixel art, although the current version of Paint is really glitchy and crappy, but it used to be a really okay option for doing pixel art.
Nice.
Wait, MS Paint? Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to be my jam way back in the day. When I was making try something new, I was using Aciprite for that, but nothing beats the nice simplicity that is MS Paint.
Oh, I did use Pixel to animate everything that needed to be animated. I used Photoshop a couple times, but yeah, most of it was Paint.
Very nice.
Thank you.
The last crystallum.
Oh yeah, I was asking my girlfriend for what we're gonna call this theme, basically. Like, I think there, Alrunia referred to it something in the script that I felt like needed to be expanded a little bit. So I just asked her like, "What's a good name for a crystal golem?" And it was just like Crystallim, and yeah, that's just what we put in there.
I didn't even get the portmanteau before.
Oh yeah, the what's it called? The boss health meter is something that I added in after the deadline. Runia made the asset for it. I think I asked for it too, but I didn't have enough time to implement it before the deadline, so I just added that in afterwards. Pretty minor theme, but it's a nice touch.
Oh hey, we got the artifact. It's a little gold bird there.
It's the bird pawn because it's a reference to the bird phone.
Oh snap!
Oh wow, that was a good shortcut. I always feel really bad whenever I hit, like, the easiest of enemies.
Oh, what do you mean, sorry?
Oh, when you got, like, your basic slime enemy, and it's like, oh yeah, these guys, they're a cakewalk, and then you just walk right into them and get hurt. Oh, we got pink ones now, though.
Oh yeah, Alrunia drew red versions of the slimes, plus a cubed version of the slimes too that I didn't get around to implementing. It'd be nice if I had a bit more time, like I give the red slimes like a different attack pattern, or maybe make them more likely to drop hearts. Right now, though, it's just purely a cosmetic thing. Like there's a random chance 1 out of 10 slimes you encounter will be red ones.
Hmm.
Really, yeah, there's a lot more we could do with that if I had a little bit more time.
DG is asking in chat, did you have any challenges with the AI character? Pathing, battle, picking up items? I did notice he was picking up items before.
Yeah, that's right. I've got a, like, if there's a heart that's within a certain range of both players, then your AR partner will start accumulating, like, desire to pick up heart points, basically. And then once it hits a certain threshold, then he'll path over to the tile that the heart is located on. And I change that threshold to dynamically according to how wounded your AI partner is and how much health he has relative to yours. Try to make it so that, like, if you're wounded too, he won't immediately go and grab all the hearts, for instance.
Hmm. That's pretty smart.
The AI, oh, thanks. The AI was actually significantly easier than I expected for the most part, although it's a little bit simplistic. Basically, the AI will just like tag along and follow you if you get a certain distance away. And then if it detects that he's stuck on an obstacle after like half a second, then I use A-star pathfinding to make him walk onto the same tile that the player is on.
Nice. Yeah, I've found a lot of AI implementation is sometimes it's a lot of cheating at making states. Like with my game, I basically just added like a couple range distances where if you're within this range of the player, run at them, get close enough, just start shooting. Wasn't able to get A-star in time though.
States are a big part of AI, though. I've got like a state machine basically for all the AI characters, different ones for the your AI partner, and then for the enemies.
Oh, another chat question. How far into development was it to add section character local multiplayer?
That was in there basically from the start. It was one of the first things that I ended up doing. I think I managed to record like 3 like weekly progress demo videos before my desktop died on me. And I think like the first one, it was set up so that one controller controls both characters, and then by the second week, I had it so that like by default, one character would be driven by the controllers, and then you could hold down the start button to like create basically a second input controller that would only receive input from the second control device that would then drive the second character.
Neat.
So yeah, that part was actually in there before I even had AI proper, basically. So actually wasn't too tricky, especially using the framework that I was able to adapt from my platforming engine.
Oh, we've got a desert over here.
With a little bit of heat distortion too. Alrunia suggested that we put in some heat distortion, but I had also thought of that myself and had a shader that I was able to reuse from my very first Game Jam entry, Deadweed, like 8 years ago, I think.
Very nice.
I think the scorpion is the only sprite that wasn't made by me at the end.
The plant monsters in the mine were also from the tile pack, but yeah, those are the only two enemies that came from like a pre-existing R pack. Alrunia did the rest of the monsters there.
Oh, I think I'm lost on where to go next. Is the desert the next location, or do it...
Yeah.
Okay, it looked like the guy was saying, don't go this way, we have to go somewhere else. Or I'm getting my west and east backwards, that's also possible.
Yeah, no, east is to the right. Should have just had him say go right.
Is he not saying to go west?
East is right.
Yeah, east is the right.
Oh no, he keeps getting hit. Those spiders are nasty. They're scorpions, rather.
I hope I didn't make them too hardcore. They've got a simple AI where they will snipe at the characters, but if you get too close to them, then they'll run away instead until they get enough distance to fire.
Ooh, that's evil. No, don't run at the scorpion. Stop it! Alright, I think I got this. Haha.
Very nice.
It says have a drink, but I can't drink. Oh, okay, wait. Is it made...
Get stuck.
It's made so you can't walk too far away from the other player?
Yeah, that's right. I noticed a lot of complaints in the itch.io comments about the camera system. I basically tried to imitate the Secret of Mana implementation of the camera exactly. One of the things there is that if, or basically I had some complications where I needed to support having two players, so I didn't want to have the camera scroll away from either of them, basically.
Ah.
I'm starting to think maybe I should have had two separate cameras, depending on if you're playing one player or two player. Probably would have alleviated a lot of the issues with that, probably.
Yeah, I did notice a couple times that enemies popping out of the side of the screen I'm walking at are super close to me when they finally appear. I'm sure that can be fixed with a bit of camera spacing.
The issue with that is if I increase the camera spacing, that will also give you less slack for your AI teammate, and so he'll get caught up on obstacles more easily. Probably what I have to do is either implement separate camera systems for single player and multiplayer, or try to create a more like complicated camera system that will try to dynamically keep both of the players in the center of the frame if possible, while also keeping some more margin around the edges.
Okay,
What's up?
I'm sorry, are my eyes deceiving me, or is this going black and white in spots?
Oh, yep, that's right. I felt that this area should be like a little bit spooky, I felt. So I created a pixel shader effect that kind of does like a throbbing effect where it dims the lights and also desaturates it and makes it a bit more black and white.
Are you planning on making this a full game? That is from EcoBuns in chat.
I didn't have any plans outright for it. My next goal was to continue working on like we've got, or there were some hacky bits in the code that I had to put in just to make the schedule over here. But overall, it's got like a pretty good system for doing map loading and scripting that I feel like wouldn't be too hard to extend in the future. I feel like if we did do a sequel, the main work would involve would be making more graphics, and then also I feel like you might want to redo some of the storyline while probably keeping the characters, since we're no longer obligated to follow the unnecessary sequels thing.
That's true.
Well, I'd be up for that.
What was this made in?
C# and monogame. So it was not using any sort of commercial game engine. Technically, we could release this then for money without having to pay any royalties to one of the engine studios, which is kind of nice.
Very nice.
One thing I would want to add in support though is Fmod support for audio. Another complaint that I've gotten on the itch.io site is that the music doesn't loop properly. That's because monogame does not have very good support for handling complicated music looping. You can get it done through monogame just by itself, but you have to do some really complicated and not very easy to use hacks basically. And also you have to keep all of your music in raw .wav files, which really explodes the size of the game.
That's a bummer.
Fmod, though, I think they changed their licensing where as long as you don't release more than 2 indie games a year, I think you can use their license for free. So that's something I would also like to implement here going forward.
Oh, found the other relic spot. Uh-oh.
It's a trap.
Going on to what I assume is the final fight.
Maybe.
Yeah, there's always a stage 2.
This isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
Stage 2, there's no way we'd have enough time to implement that.
You'd have to make a sprite of him transforming and everything. That's just too hard.
You did. Oh, he's also a Panderling. What a twist. I'm starting to think there isn't one Panderling left.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Oh, wait, I think I'm controlling the buddy there now.
If the controlling player dies, you immediately gain control of your remaining teammate. You can press the switch key to switch back if you want.
Oh, maybe that's what I did. Which one's the switch key?
Or sorry, the shift key. There we go. Naturally, it only does that in single player. If you're in multiplayer, then you just stay dead until your buddy goes and revives you.
Alone.
Gonna get in some Undertale vibes, I feel like, from the end sequence over here. Or the idea to make it not purely like a combat-based thing, basically.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like an interactive cutscene, but maybe it was a bit overdone. I'm not sure.
Ah, well. I think we'll leave the ending a mystery for anybody who wants to go play. That's it for the end of this slot. Thank you, Thermal and Alrunia, for bringing The Last Panderling II.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, it was a lot of fun working on it, and yeah, I hope I'm glad y'all enjoy it.
Cool, thank you very much. Alright, we're gonna have a quick minute or two break before we start up Sequel Studios. Hey everybody, we're back with Sequel Studios with SystemLogoff and Willfor.
Hey there.
Hello.
You guys want to give a brief little description of your game?
So this is a sequel to Puzzle, except this time you're not climbing the tower to find money, you're climbing the tower because you're good at your job.
There once was a tower in the middle of a vast desert.
Is that the tower?
People would climb it. hoping
Well, that's the old tower. And
Ah,
Shibania's wonderful voice acting.
all they ever found was frustration. Even a magical tower can't exist alone forever.
oh, they grew a little city around it.
Grew around the tower, and the monster inside had to find a
You can
discreet
tell the
way
difference where I had more time to draw the art than the art that came later on. I lost like 2.5 weeks of this jam to being sick.
Oh, dang. That's rough.
I will. Good luck with work, Mom. Well, it's a new start anyway. Look at all these fresh faces. Welcome to QA.
Oh, yep, that looks like a bunch of QA testers.
With everyone that we are watching.
I wanted this to be more animated, but again, time. I'm just glad I have the comic book cutscenes working.
Now, begin.
And my WarioWare Paper Mario art-ish style.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and save real quick. Alright, just go ahead and click on the puzzle building.
So it should be a bit more clear. Click on
Oh,
day
day
one
one, there we go. Find Triumph Forks. I found him!
I had to squeeze in as many sequels as I could, so we had the sequel to the best part of Wind Waker, finding stuff in the ocean, and Super High 65.
Oh,
This
it's
is-
3 Ario!
Yeah, I had to get this in somewhere. It's 3 Hours
Hey.
educational game. Somehow missing booze for some reason.
2 plus 2 equals, yeah, let's go with that one. Hey, I'm doing
Good
pretty good
work.
at this. I did it. Ah, wow, that's rude.
Great work today. I can see this is easy for you. Well, I do play games with my son all the time. That's wonderful.
I feel like a bad spray comic artist for some of these cutscenes because
You there.
copy paste, but that's okay.
A promotion? So soon? Yes, Ms. Guy.
Also, Willfor, do you want to talk a bit about the music and how you remixed the puzzle for this game?
Yes. So the original puzzle soundtrack was basically the same song sped up about 4 different times, and then a different song for the end credits. And so I basically took the same sort of arrangement and redid it like 100 more times for this game, and also mixed in a few public domain songs using some violin and some chiptune synths.
Well, I have a few Great! Let's start!
Image by version 2.0.
I had to get as many sequels in as possible.
Oh, there's so many choices.
Yes, so many choices.
Yeah, let's go with Sword Hat Angry. Submit.
I would buy that game.
I see this is not frustrating at all.
I'd buy Sword Hat Angry too.
Gifted developer. Well, I did work on
And Ash did a great job as well, being Joy, the hero.
Very nice.
I'm going to test out your leadership experience. Another promotion? Yes, Ms. Guy. Excellent.
This next one is my favorite puzzle.
Management.
This is my favorite gag.
Oh, that's great. It's photorealistic.
Ms. Guy? Well, time to mediate like my life depended on it.
Human Resources 2.0.
Not all the names are winners.
All right. I think I remember what everybody's preference is. So let's go with I feel like if I do this a bunch, everybody will be happy. That's how human resources works. Just take a guess.
You lock everyone in their own rooms. It works. So
Later,
pretty
mindless
much-
zombies. Oh, sorry, go for it.
So, depending on whose character is stronger, the frame will be different that holds the image. So when Joy is stronger in the scene, the frame is more orderly. And when Misguide is more strong in the scene, the frame becomes more frayed.
Oh, that's really neat.
Well, treat others as you would. You know what? I don't care.
Oh, it's getting a little eldritch up in here.
And I've decided to eat you.
Okay, no, it definitely is.
Excuse me. I must have misheard.
Kirby's an influence.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've gotten all Kirby 64 up in here now.
It's just missing a green spiked tail.
Oh, Magical Item Workshop.
Yep, all the sequels I could fit into this game, I've got them in here.
What's next? Okay, key, book. Wrench is good. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm just gonna stab. Oh, no. I've been doing perfect up to this point. This has gotta work. Shield?
Be safe.
It's family. The solution is family.
Or anime. The solution is anime.
That too.
Oh look, it's games for Grandpa. Oh, this is all Mihai for all the male characters. Except for the ghost filter over this one.
Very spooky. It was with you all along. Bleh.
Impossible! No one has ever defeated me before! No one has been able to not be frustrated! Patience is a virtue.
Womp womp.
Oh, spare me that.
Head stop music there.
Strike me down. Don't let the door hit your ungodly freaking patience on the way out.
I'm definitely noticing the panels a lot more now that you mention them. Very good use.
I want to strike you down. I have a much better idea that could work for both of us. I'm going to look after the office. Talk to you later. Sounds good. I'm gonna have a snack.
Oh, it's some dork. Blank you blanking blank. What the blanky crap do you know about rights anyway?
Extremely internet accurate.
That's
Except,
super accurate.
censored.
I'll take this, some dork. Ben!
Studios grew strong.
I think I skipped a screen on accident.
Yeah, some guy yells after being banned, and Misguide's like, tastes good.
Heh. I definitely like the constant feed of just Twitter posts getting banned.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to have worked in right from the start when I knew what the ending was going to be. When I had more time, it was going to be Facebook bans and other stuff as well. So, this game is incredibly easy, but on purpose. Originally, there was going to be more games where you just solve it, and it would just be easy throughout, but then time constraints.
No, of
So
course.
this is kind of like the opposite of Puzzle, where Puzzle was a game where there was no solution.
I do remember playing that one, and that was quite the frustrating game.
So this one's the opposite. You have enough patience where even the most frustrating challenge becomes simple. And unfortunately, my game is incredibly short this year.
Oh, that's fine. It's all about the presentation. But now that we've gone through it once, let's go through it again and ask some more questions.
Yes, please.
I was
questions.
super sorry. I was super enthralled that first time through.
Thank you.
Oh, you can actually load game. So you know what I'm gonna
It
do?
automatically saves.
We're getting attacked by the Eldritch Horror here. I'm just gonna go back to testing. Only ocean. I am liking that you're doing super obscure sequels here, like Super Guy 65, Superman 64.
Wind Waker, the ocean bit. This one's a sequel to Mario Teaches Typing.
Yep. What do you do all of your art in?
So I have an old version of Photoshop from when I was a student. So I draw in that on a very small canvas.
I too am aware of the copies of Photoshop from a long time ago.
And I literally don't want to bother finding a new copy, so I've just been using that very old copy forever.
Yeah, I've been doing the same as well ever since they moved to Creative Cloud, and they're like, we want money from you every month for Photoshop. When I just want to give them, some money, and then I just have it forever.
Yeah, I agree. I would like something that works better on Windows 10, to be quite honest.
Report to development tomorrow. Yes, excellent.
So I
definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was also noticing that Misguide has two eyes here, but later on she has the one eye from being the Eldritch Horror. But I actually came back to try and see if I was missing that earlier.
Nope, when she goes monster form, that's when she switches to the one eye. Also, this game was done 2 days before the jam, so you got 3 sets of 3 options for a total of 18.
Nice.
Well, I did work on development of another. Yes, excellent.
So, if anyone ever tells you you should fly and then do a game jam after you're done flying, don't. You'll get sick.
Willfor, did you reuse any of the music from the past games?
Basically, what I ended up doing was I went back to the original files and got the notes, but I re-instrumented everything, since in the intervening 2 years I had purchased a few better synths and also got better at arranging them. So I added a few notes here and there to sort of better the flow of the songs, and yeah, that's basically it. I had the whole month, but I ended up making all of the songs in basically the last 4 days of the jam.
Hey, last 4 days of the jam, buddy. How are you?
It's honestly the best way to work. And by the best, I mean, I'm intending to not do it in the future, but probably will.
Yeah, I say the same thing every jam. I'm not going to overscope, and I'm going to get it done early. Somehow, that just doesn't work out. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, my track record so far for every jam has been staying up the entire weekend right before it's due. That's
Lots of
the
14 hour
prime.
days.
I've been phrasing it as drawing the rest of the owl. That's the time when you
That's a
draw
good
the rest of
way,
the owl.
Yeah, that is a good way. This particular song that's playing was the first song that I started doing, and I actually started it like a week into the jam, and then it sat there for about 2 more weeks without me working on it. But I still like how it turned out. It also features in the end.
Nice.
Also, if you look at Joy and Misguide here, you can see how the style changed as I started. Joy was like, oh, I'll use a thinner line. And then Misguide, I'm like, no, let's just do the Paper Mario thing with a double thick outline.
Also, is everybody like Playmobil peg people?
Yes.
Okay, I'm making sure I saw that correctly.
That's actually a reference to another one of my jam games, but I didn't list it in the credits. So, Life is Simply Unfair. Everyone's a little peg people on the board game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was that for another jam?
Yeah, that was for, that was one of the awful jams. I think it's just, it was after Panic, I think. I'm blanking on the theme now, but it was for Awful Jam, yeah. No, this game is a reference to pretty much every one of my previous jam games except Half-Hearted Hero, which I want to slightly disown a bit.
Yeah. Oh, Mihai saying it was for a winter awful jam.
Oh, okay. Mihai, I'm sorry I did your voice for the ghost.
Boop. Very
Yeah.
nice sound direction with the sound effects there.
Yeah, I spent a lot more time than I should have getting that to have good comedic timing. I made myself laugh more than I should have. I might have been exhaustion at that point.
Heh.
Patience is a virtue. Oh, spare me that trite. Hurry and strike me down. Don't let the door hit your ungodly freaking patience on the way out. Now, why would I want to?
Okay, I'm also just noticing the newspaper is the same text flipped over.
Yep.
I think I was trying to read it earlier, and I'm like, I kind of want to get to the next bit right now. Nope, no, I can see it's the same thing.
And then I wanted to look more like a newspaper, so I drew a gray line right down the center. That's why a bunch of words are cut off.
That's a smart idea.
I'm going to look after the office. Talk to you later.
So, about like a couple of hours before this game was due, there was no coffee cup or laptop on there. You know, small details you forget.
Of course. Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's quieter than I thought it was. Oh well, I'll fix that in a later version.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made sure that if you didn't want to read any dialogue, you could just click like a madman, and the clips would just skip properly, which was nice.
Nice. Was there anything that you did want to get in that you weren't able to get in on time?
So there's going to be a lot more of games where you would just solve it, but it would take more effort to just solve it, if that makes sense. There was a whole thing where you were, sorry about the dogs, you were trapped in a maze, and then your encouragement came one after the other, helping you solve the maze. with your patience. That didn't make it either.
Aw.
I had bigger plans for this, so instead it just turned into a small game where I've referenced every single thing I've made.
I think Giggs also did a similar game where he references his past games as well, and that's actually not too common of a game theme in this jam, which I actually thought I'd see a lot more of. Because I know we've got a lot of people that enter the jams over and over, and they've built up a nice collection of, or not collection, like a showcase of games.
A portfolio of games, yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice when you're able to just kind of collect them all into the same spot, and kind of go, cool, I have a history here of what I've done.
A vinyl collection of games.
Yeah. It's like a Super Smash Brothers of your own.
Yeah, it just feels good to look back and say, I've done a lot.
Oh, I'm looking closer at the boat now. That's a great face on him. And then you got a always small fry over in the corner.
And Triumph Forks is another reference as well. Because in Windmaker, when you give them bait, they're like, you need to find the golden Triumph Forks.
Wait, are they trying to say Triforce?
Yeah, they're trying to say Triforce.
Okay.
Also, another pun that's mine and not from another game. The boss, Misguide, is the word misguide.
I remember that from Puzzle.
That's
I remember.
Not from Puzzle.
Oh wait.
To this one.
Oh wait, no, I thought Puzzle, she had a name or something.
Nope, she just says she really enjoys frustration and then boots you out of the game.
Oh.
Thank you. Also, that applause sound effect made me so happy when I found it. You have no idea.
Really works.
Yeah, it did it.
2 frames of dance animation. Oh, another thing that's scrapped from this game that I wish made in would be a timer that looks more dire than a shaking clock. Also, if you shoot when the duck is like completely off screen, it will automatically go into the target before it fires.
I kind of want to watch this duck just fly around for a bit right now, especially when he just hits the ground.
All hand animated.
Very nice. Oh, yep, there we go. He flies right in the path of the bullet.
Then delays the shot sound effect, so it looks like you did it perfectly. Basically, I wanted the game to be a lot more like that duck game than it ended up being.
That's wonderful. A promotion? Yes.
But yeah, I'm glad I got to work with a bunch of wonderful people. Ash, and Shibanya, Mihai, and Willfor are all really great to work with.
All
They made
phenomenal
this
people.
game feel more alive than it would have been.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else, Willfor?
Not off the top of my head, and I wish I did.
How'd you get this chair to look so real?
So, that was originally just a void until I realized that I don't have time to draw in a background. So, I went on a stock image site and just like, okay, public domain, abandoned office.
Ah,
So this is literally abandoned office.jpg.
it's a good one.
Time to meet.
Also, why is Bob so grumpy?
Bob just doesn't want to talk to people.
Bob can get the left office then.
You know what?
I made sure every single animation in this thing was as juicy as possible.
Oh yeah, that you. It's perfect.
Also, I should have had her eyes bug out between 2 frames of small and big.
Oh, that'd be great. Alright. That's the end of the slot. Thank you guys
was
for
great.
coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully next year my game will be longer and more interesting.
It's a good jam game, though. Short and sweet. Gets right to the point. At least it's not like 2 minutes long. Unless maybe you're speedrunning?
I think you could probably speedrun this game into 3 minutes, because that's why I probably had it when I was testing things. Being really fast. If I learned one thing this jam, though, is that I really do enjoy Paper Mario N64's art style, and I probably will keep using it in the future.
Very nice.
It's a good look.
Alright, thanks very much, guys.
I will now
Have a great
join the
evening.
Twitch chat, which I recommend everyone else join as well.
And we will be taking another 2 to 3 minute intermission. Be right back. Hey everybody! We're back with Where the Red Fern Still Grows with BluJay.
Hi there.
Hello! Let's go ahead and get this started. You want to tell us a little bit about your game?
So me and my team were a bunch of my coworkers, and we were sitting around thinking about what weird thing we could do for a sequel that nobody wanted. And my animator buddy Armando came up with the idea of like where the red fern still grows, and you sit around with a watering can and water this fern in between the dogs graze, and that would be the entire thing. And then me and the other people on the team are fans of Dark Souls, Bloodborne kind of thing, and it pops into my head. What if the idea was that the animals have come back as zombies, so you have to go and put your dogs to rest as they've come back from the dead. And that's where we started from, and what we came up with. So it's a modeled after Bloodborne.
Right on.
The character model you're seeing there, my character artist, I'm asking for people to do stuff in their, free time for stuff that they do all day anyway. That go ahead and jump down.
Ooh, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I lived!
Oh, you
Ha!
survived. That should have actually killed you. Oh, that's a little... Well, jump in the water.
Wait, I gotta walk over here. Hold on. Is it gonna break things if I go over there?
You might be doing things out of order. So
I'll go ahead and hop in the water then.
Yeah.
I tried.
Wow.
I've played a lot of Dark Souls, so I think some little ability kicked in where it was like, oh, I can totally make this jump.
Yeah,
And I did.
That's why you need more people to play it, so I can see when things like that happen. But so as you can see, so there is a targeting mechanic that you'll want to use, which acts like Dark Souls and Bloodborne.
So let's say I'm on keyboard. What key would that be?
That would be Q.
There we go. Take that, you giant bear raccoon. Yeah, take
it's
it.
a giant undead raccoon.
That's a great model there.
Yeah, as I was saying, my character artist was able to make 2 enemies for me. Was what he had time for. So the player character was me spending a day trying to learn Blender, and my skills of an artist, as we shall say, as if you might guess, I'm not an artist.
I've had similar experience with Blender. Open it up, take the cube, scale it around a bit, and I'm like, I feel like I get the gist of this. I don't know if I'm coming back for a while.
Yeah, but I was able to make something that was something other than the default Unreal character.
Oh, that's true. What is it, Mannequin Man or something?
Yeah, mannequin. Which is what the player character was for up until a few days before the jam ended.
Oh, note to everybody on stream, noticing a bit of little lagging. That's like a mixture of the game and the stream at the moment. It's
Game lagging on your machine?
it's only because of my setup that I have going here.
Sure.
I got to stream out to 2 things at once, so it's a little taxing whenever I get an Unreal game on here.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Take that, raccoon.
So the shotgun.
Oh
the
yeah, sorry,
shotgun
go on.
also acts as the Bloodborne stun mechanic, where if you hit the enemy at the start of its attack cycle, you'll get into a stun state.
Oh, neat.
Where you can do like 50% more damage, and it's doing a stun animation for a bit.
Oh, hey, I figured out how to use my Estus.
So if you want to get the controls you can change the controls to be the keyboard ones instead of the gamepad ones in the controls menu, by the way.
Oh, hey, I did the interrupt. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm getting the hang of this. So, I'm not familiar with the source material where the red fern grows. However, when I was browsing over the entries, my girlfriend had actually seen yours for where the red fern still grows, and she's like, somebody made a sequel to that? So know that somebody else gets the reference too.
So for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, Where the Red Fern Grows is a coming-of-age story where a young boy who grows up with his family in the Ozarks wants to get some dogs and decides to get some coon hounds for hunting raccoons. And throughout the course of the story, they go and chase raccoons, and eventually they get into a fight with a mountain lion, and one of the dogs gets injured and dies, and the other dog basically dies of a lonely heart.
Oh.
And then the dogs get buried, and there's some Indian legend. Hey, you got the stun.
Nice.
There's some Indian legend about a red fern growing between graves for some special reason, like there's love there or some other nonsense. And so we thought bringing the dogs back as zombies would be a very unnecessary thing to do.
Totally unnecessary. So it's like you're mixing a little pet cemetery in there.
Yeah.
Oh, does this go back?
So
All right,
the game does save, so that tree that you knocked down should still be down.
All right.
Unless I went wrong.
Let me go ahead and look for that. Now, you made this in Unreal?
That's correct, yes.
I, too, worked in Unreal in this jam, except I I went the jackhammer for hitting a nail route and did a 2D game.
Yeah. I
Which,
haven't had any experience with Paper 2D yet, so one of these days I'll take a look at it.
let me tell you,
I'm curious.
not very well supported.
I can imagine. It seems kind of funny that people are making 2D stuff with it. But hey, if you pull it off, good for you.
Were there any hitches that you hit while working in Unreal?
Nothing too much. The more just that the doing all this was biting off a lot, so it just took a lot of time. I spent the first weekend just making all these proper player states and targeting and switching targets and things like that. And then once I got that framework in, a lot of it was just building on top of that.
Yeah, that was most of the jam for me, was just building everything up, and then once you get all those little systems into place, it all just kind of clicks.
Yeah, it actually was on the whole, a really pleasant experience. I had a lot of fun. And
how was it making all this terrain? It's a lot of detail here.
oh, that was a lot of work. So I started out as a level designer, doing it as a hobbyist thing. So it's going back to my roots. I don't do as much level design these days. So I had a lot of fun with it. Starting out, drawing out the route that I wanted on paper, making sure that, you know, it had those shortcuts that a nice Soulsborne style level has. That's a tougher one.
Got him.
And then implementing that path shape in cubes and cylinders, converting that into a landscape, and then most of the environment stuff that you see was from an asset pack that we bought to save ourselves a lot of time. So the rocks and the trees and the foliage. So
Right on. It all meshes together very well.
Yeah, it was a nice little pack, and then my character artist Lewis did a wonderful job making his two creatures fit that style. And so after I got the terrain in, probably the most tedious part of this was putting in all these rocks that you see everywhere, because all of these rocks were hand placed, and it took about a day and a half just doing those rocks.
Oof. Is that also another shortcut backwards?
Sure is.
I'm gonna go ahead and refill my shotgun. And hopefully I won't crash on the way back.
Hope not. And then the Unreal gives you a lot of nice stuff out of the box. So once I had all that landscape and rocks in, I was like, okay, I got to do the trees now. And ended up making the trees a foliage layer. I just painted them everywhere. It took like an hour.
Hey, that's not bad.
So,
Also, I really gotta commend you on the level design here. It's really got that Souls Bloodborne flow to it.
thank you. I had a lot of fun making it, and I felt like
Oh no, it's just like Souls. Go into the campfire, makes them come back.
that's exactly it. Yes. I think the idea is you're taking a nap in your truck and resting up, and then they come back.
It's a good idea. There we go. Definitely getting the hang of this now.
Yeah, you totally got it.
So were there any enemies that you wanted to get done in time, but couldn't get in?
Oh yeah. Oh, so you missed your shortcut.
Oh,
there.
other shortcut.
The plan was to have so we have the raccoons that you're fighting, and in the end, you'll encounter the dogs. But we also wanted to have squirrels, deer, and mountain lions. And sadly, in the interest of time, none of that happened. But it's a jam. That's sort of cut things to make up for what you want to do. Other things that were planned that aren't in, there was a heavy attack. So, like Souls and Bloodborne, you have 2 levels of attack, and that didn't make it in. And this version has a sprint, which was added post the submission for the jam, which I can see you running right.
I just noticed that there's a stamina bar. I think I've been doing fairly well enough that it hasn't been a hindrance yet. But I feel like if I keep spamming the shovel, that's not going to help out.
Yeah, I went kind of at first I feel like I made it too hard, and then had a bunch of my coworkers play it and realized, oh wait, this is too hard. It's pretty easy to get myopic when you're the only one doing it.
Oh, absolutely true.
And that's funny. It blinks with your low setting.
Yeah.
Just because there's less particles. But yeah, getting people to play it made me retune everything and made it a lot easier. And this build, I pushed it back a little bit just to make some of the timing a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
But it's still, compared to, say, like Bloodborne or something, it's not a hard game.
Oh, hey, we're getting up to the barn.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very ominous barn.
That barn, there's a nice little story there. So I made the barn myself in Unreal, and Unreal gives you the option to take a bunch of primitives and convert them into a mesh. But when you do that, it doesn't group materials together into like a single draw call. So the first version of this had some, 1,400 draw calls.
Oh no!
For all of 2 materials. So right now this version's about 200, which is still ridiculous, but it works for now.
That's a little better.
Yeah, if I was wanted to do it right, I would export it into an external program and do it right. But what we have time for. Jams.
Oh, jam. Old Dan and little Ann. Oh, dog! Drink the beer, drink the beer. I tried. And that's how you can tell I played Souls. Because I tried to dodge away and Estus up before he hit me again.
Yeah, that's actually one of the ways that I pushed it back in the build that you're currently playing, not in the submission build, is that the right in this build, when you're drinking your beer, you walk a little bit slower, and the enemies can catch up to you. In the previous builds, you would be going at your normal speed, and the enemy speed was all slightly slower than you, so you could just run away from them while drinking. And that just felt a little bit too cheap to me.
Also, I didn't know you could walk while doing that. Alright, I think you got this.
You got this.
Oh, I pulled it off.
Nice.
Spam, spam. There we go. That's a great boss fight.
Thank you.
I really like the pacing on bringing in the second dog right in the middle of the fight with the first one. New game plus.
That's right. Once you beat the game, it will increase the damage and health of enemies by 50%, I believe it is. And just keep adding that ad infinitum.
Oh, dang.
So the VO you were hearing there was done by the character artist.
Nice.
And our animator made the animal sounds.
They just had a microphone go like, "Grrr."
Something like that. I wasn't actually there for the mix session, so I missed that part.
Well, I've got up on screen the credits of everybody on your team. And this is a very impressive work for the jam, man.
Thank you. I feel like we bit off a lot, and I feel pretty proud, mainly of the fact that we pulled it off.
Yeah, when you start getting larger teams, it gets a little tougher, because you've got to coordinate so many people. But if you can pull something off, it usually looks pretty damn good.
Well, thanks. I spent a lot of my free time on this. I think I've put in maybe 120 hours.
Ooh, dang.
Which is, so it's time to get back to being social again.
Yeah. Alright, well, thanks a bunch for coming on, man. This
Yeah,
is
I
a
enjoyed it.
fun game to
Thank
play.
you for having me.
Alright, that's it for Jamflix and Chill tonight. Apologies about technical problems earlier. And I hope to see everybody again tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. PST. We're gonna have more games. I'd pull up my list of who's on tomorrow night, but that is currently still closed from the crash. Yeah, let me see if I can find that. Here we go. Alright, tomorrow, Thursday at 7:30, we're going to have Tamar with Horse World 2, Harold Krell with Super Slam Fighter, and then we're going to have Albrat. Oh, I see you in chat, Albrat. And Albrat has Creature Street. Alright, that's going to be it for tonight. I'll see everybody tomorrow.